It's time to pop the top off with Pub Talk. Today, we are back live to talk about the winners and losers of the NFL draft. Some talk on Rob Gronkowski and some diamonds in the rough. And Vigna is back to join us once again. So let's kick back and yell about some football. But before we begin, Pup Talk is brought to you by Route 11 Chips. Social distancing is the law of the land, so that means it's time to stuff your face alone with some chips, and Route 11 has got you covered. Since 1992, Route 11 has been chipping away to give its consumers a great and tasty product. So make sure you check out your local Martin's Food Line and Giant to pick up a bag today. Okay, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back, Vigna. You're spending a little too much time here at our house, which is okay. I mean, I know this is your, I wouldn't say expertise, but this is your most in-depth type of area when it comes to the draft.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I think especially what we've seen over the past couple of days that has transpired with these teams, especially starting today. Andy Dalton has been released. He is no longer a Cincinnati Bengal. They saved $17.7 million in cap space now with him gone. So that's a lot of money that they have now. And I think it's clear as day now that Zach Taylor wants one and only Joe Burrow to be at the head of the helm for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, well, let's go ahead and we'll start off with Rob. But we'll start off with Rob Gronkowski first because
How could you not?
I think we touched on it maybe for a second last week before the draft, but it's the draft, so we don't really care about him. But Rob Gronkowski, for those of you who live under a rock and don't follow anything according to the NFL, is now returning to the NFL after 1 year. It's a 1 year hiatus.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So 1 year hiatus after winning the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He is coming back, not to the New England Patriots, though. He is coming to Tampa Bay to join his old buddy, pal.
He forced the trade, though.
He did, and I think the Patriots were like, whatever, dude.
We talked about it. It was the right thing to do. I mean, he's been in the league for a while. He's been banged up. You still owed him $10 million for another year with him. And
that he's not even going to spend a dime because he's never spent a dime of his contract
right.
money.
Well, I mean, it just seems smart, but that Belichick would get something for him. And so, I mean, what they have? They had 11 picks in the draft. The Patriots had 11 picks. Are you kidding me? You're going to give Belichick 11 chances to pick a couple of guys? I think he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, I think especially when I saw that, I was just thinking that all I could think of is that this team is going to be now good. But it doesn't even stop just there. Just yesterday, the Buccaneers have exercised their fifth-year option on O.J. Howard. So not only do they get Rob Gronkowski, they get what could be considered what they had with Aaron Hernandez with him as well. And a two-headed monster.
And then you got a guy like Bruce Arians who's very quarterback-minded and very offensively minded. And now you have what essentially sounds like this. Brady at quarterback. You got Mike Evans at wide receiver. You got Chris Godwin at the other wide receiver. You have Rob Gronkowski and O.J. Howard.
You're laughing, but I'm like, I'm scared.
And then throw in Ronald Jones at running back. How are you going to cover those five fucking guys? How do you cover five guys like that?
And not only that, they just drafted well, too, by picking up Tristan Wirfs.
They picked up Wirfs. They picked up Antoine Minifield from the safety from the safety from Minnesota. And they also got Tyler Johnson from Minnesota, the other wide receiver.
Yeah.
So you add some.
No,
add some,
he's 6'3". That dude's huge.
So you add some depth.
There was a picture posted today, 12 to 13, 12 to 14, because that's their number. Mike Evans is 13, Chris Godwin's 14. So.
I'm just speechless still about what the Tampa Bay Bucks did.
11.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he wore number 11. Brady wears 12.
No, he doesn't. He wears 13. Mike Evans wears 13.
Who wears 11? What's that?
I don't know. I have to look at it.
But Godwin used to be 12, but
that's right.
He's going to give over his number.
Maybe that's what you saw.
You think?
He's going to give up his number for that, of course. There's just no way you're going to say, no, Tom, you're old, you're washed up.
I just can't believe.
But back,
I see it's 13.
How Tampa Bay went from shit
or
To
second
Mediocre,
But
yes.
yeah.
to now potential Super Bowl odds.
Gotta
up
be in.
there.
You gotta
Up
be.
top
Gotta be
five.
considered.
And
favorite
this is
right there.
different than Cleveland last year. Okay,
No, this is
this is not like the
yeah,
Odell
no.
Beckham type of Lewis Riddick saying 16-0 on the board.
Yeah.
Nope,
No.
nope. And now let's go back to Rob though, because I think that people just are like, oh, it's just Rob. Rob is the difference though that you don't realize he was the difference for the Patriots always. When he took away those eyes on the defense to get double team, it opened up guys like Chris Hogan. It opened up guys like Danny Amendola, who at the time, yeah, they're above average players, but they're not great. Great athletes. Chris Hogan came from Buffalo after 4 years, and he barely made a name for himself, but he signed with the Patriots, and he became a receiver. You're like, what the hell? We have to deal with this guy? And then you have Edelman, who's always been a formidable force with New England, and then Danny Amendola, who came over on a trade from the Rams. He was their punt returner and slot receiver, and then he goes to the Patriots, and he is their secondary receiver. But the reason why they were so good is because of Rob. You put him on the safety, on a strong safety or an outside linebacker, it doesn't work like that. Man coverage does not work against Rob Gronkowski. It really doesn't. And now you're also putting him with another tight end that for a couple of years, a dynamic duo with him and Hernandez. It's scary to think of that again because O.J. Howard is no slouch. He's 6'5" as well, and he runs like a deer as well. You're smirking right now, but you're
I just you gotta give credit there to Tom. He's turned those so-called cast-offs
because people want to play with him
into something. I mean, look at Gronk. He only would have came back to the NFL to play with Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Tom Brady would have went to, the Chargers, the Raiders, guarantee you.
Yeah, one of the things, and I don't mean to cut you off, is the response Mike Evans got when he found out they landed Brady was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be catching passes from Brady.
And he said it in the past in like interviews. He's like, yeah, I'm a Peyton fan, but I know Tom's the best. He said it many times before.
Yeah.
But now you get people just want to play for Tom though. They do like him he's a great teammate, and he's also old school. Hi, I'm Tom Brady. He always walks up to people and says that, and he's been playing since 2000. So,
did you try? I'm just trying to point to Vigna, trying to get this Midnight Brewery's Rockville Red. It's an Irish red ale. It's one of our all stars. It's made down in Goochland, Virginia. Fine beer. That's a fine beer. It's really good. The fridge I got the temperature set just right. So it's a pretty good, nice cold beer right now. So I thought I'd just throw that out there in the middle of our Gronkowski conversation. Because we know Gronkowski likes beers.
He likes to slam some beers.
Yeah, he can sling a few.
You know his favorite number too, right? 69. They've asked him that. Why is your favorite number? It's just a great number, man.
Yeah. That I just saw freaking Billy Madison, and she goes, "Let's open our reading books to page 69," and he's like, 69, and he's looking around at a bunch of fourth graders, and he's like, "Yeah, well,
I am the smartest man alive." All right. So, any other thoughts on Rob though before we get to the bulk of the show?
I think that he represents a key component to the success. What's it say?
The All-In Challenge net $800,000 for dinner with Tom Brady. People will pay
$800,000.
I don't think he wants to do that, but he's kind of.
I guarantee he would.
He would do.
And then he'll give the money away to the organization or to the stadium workers who.
Hey, speaking.
There's OJ. Right? Look, here we go.
Like I said, they're exercising his fifth year.
Yeah.
Like I said, he is a mountain of a man as well, and he is. Oh my God!
They're going to be a handful. When you look at what they had prior to Brady landing there?
Nothing. To be
Well,
honest.
They had
did.
Jameis.
They had Jameis
Well-
Winston, and you say that you can say that was Jameis Winston. He gets crab legs and this and that and the other. But my whole thing, taste them crab. Get that butter off them fingers, boy. Don't get it on your
nice
shirt.
Dub.
Don't get it on your
the
shirt.
dub.
But my whole thing about him was, he led the league in passing and touchdowns and yards from scrimmage and stuff. So, there was
Oh, I know.
something there. But at the same time, he was also last in the league with turnovers and INTs.
But
and
that's his own damn problem.
But if
look
you
at
think
what-
about that, if you put that into some sort of rational look at what the Buccaneers had defensively, they're going to get better because their offense stays on the
they're
field,
a middle
and
of
they're
the pack defense right now.
but
Yes.
when you're not on the field all the time
Yes.
because of a turnover,
I've said this many times.
the strength of your defense gets better, and just how it is. I mean,
Right.
even all the way down to the lowest levels, like us in high school level, when you can keep your offense on the field and keep those key defensive players rested, you just become that much better. You just become better.
I mean, instead of playing, 100, 110 plays a game, they might be playing, 80, 70 plays a game.
Yeah, could
You
be.
know?
Yeah.
But I mean, fresh legs,
I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. Just starting out week 1, and can Brady stay healthy? I mean, he hasn't had any significant injury over the last several years, but can you keep him healthy for the season? Is a guy like Tristan Wirfs ready to play to keep him upright? Because that's what it's going to come down to. And I don't know that it was Jameis getting chased all over the field or racking up a bunch of sacks or anything like that. I think maybe a part of Arians' offense, and maybe the way maybe his just go-getter attitude, and he wanted to take chances and he thought he could sling it around. Maybe that was maybe that's what caused it.
But Arians has worked with guys who like Tom or Peyton, for example, and Big Ben.
Right.
Big Ben's a little bit different, but he is that guy who has patience in the pocket.
Right.
And so I could see that more than Jameis, who has been in the league
Yeah.
for 4 years.
And who
that's about it.
just signed with he got a 1.1.
backup
He
to
got
Drew Brees.
He's a backup to freaking Taysom Hill too, because Taysom Hill just got 22 million. CJ, I think it was.
I don't
He got
give a
16.
shit.
Something
He got
crazy.
16 million guaranteed.
I don't care.
I know.
And then you throw in Jameis Winston, who got 1 year and 1.1.
But how many plays does Taysom Hill play? Like 7 a game?
Yeah,
You're
so
paying him.
Do the math on him,
I don't
because as well as I do, Drew Brees is a year, maybe 2,
know, right?
provided he doesn't have any significant injury. He's a year, maybe 2 tops from being done. And Taysom Hill is going to be primed to take over that offense.
I don't think he's a starting quarterback there.
Well, you never know. He's been in that system. He knows how to.
True.
And you've seen it. The kid can ball. The kid can play.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay,
We'll see.
let's move on to the draft.
All right. All right.
All right. So the NFL draft is now done and dusted. 7 rounds out of the past 4 days, from Thursday to Sunday. And then, of course, after that, undrafted rookie contracts are always signed. I think you'll get probably 10 a team, like right after the draft is over, because there's always players that
Those
teams are
unrestricted
looking
guys. Yeah.
for. But let's go ahead and we'll talk about the winners first of the draft. Let's go ahead and talk about
Who do you
those.
got as a winner? Go ahead, Vig. Start us off.
I hate to say it, but the Baltimore Ravens had a hell of a draft.
Yeah, they were my number one.
I mean, top to bottom. Like
I think they did. I think they landed some big ones.
I hate to say it, but
They were 14-2.
I mean,
Give
they
fucking Dobbins.
that's
Dobbins.
that's the pick. I was gonna bring that up at.
But they already have a more
good,
than efficient
a very
backfield.
good team.
They have
I
an
mean,
efficient backfield as it is,
and
then you add something
They
like Dobbins.
upgraded, I mean, they stole him in the 7th round. Let's be honest.
All right, so they get linebacker Patrick Queen from LSU. A little undersized, but when you talk about side to
He
side,
can run.
that dude can flat out fly. He can get it done for them. You get Ohio State's running back J.K. Dobbins, and then you get this defensive tackle Matabuke from Texas A&M, who by all accounts is a great run stopper. So You take your top 3 picks right there. And I think John Harbaugh is pleased as punch that he got the picks that he got. Things just fell into their lap. And they solidified an already good team.
Yeah, that's why I said I hate to say it, but I mean, they did a hell of a job. I'll tell you that.
I don't disagree. CJ, I'm down with the Ravens on that one. I have a couple of other picks. I have a couple of other things, but go ahead, hit your.
Oh, me, I have Carolina. Even after not drafting Isaiah Simmons, they drafted 2 defensive linemen back to back to consolidate that defensive line. Where I still say, if your front 4 is awesome, your defense is awesome because you get
back on
Derek Brown from Auburn, and then you get Yetur Gross-Matos.
You get Gross-Matos, who
State.
Could likely become a solid edge guy for you.
Heck yeah,
and make things happen there.
Probably play both sides.
Oh
of the edge.
I go back to the Ohio State Penn State game. Everyone talks about Chase Young. Yetur Gross-Matos is as big as him. He is as big as Chase Young is, and he is just as much of a force as he is, but no one talks about him.
Well, the thing that doesn't surprise me about the Panthers is their coach, Matt Rule. He has been successful and been a winner and built programs everywhere he's gone.
Yes.
Was he 1-11 when he
Temple.
first arrived? When he first arrived at Baylor, this most recent thing, and then turned them into a nationally recognized national contender. Now they didn't have
top 10
enough
program.
Yeah, top 10 easily, top 10 ranked program easily in the nation.
Yeah.
And it all stemmed from that all that stuff that went down with all the allegations under Art Brow's program and all that stuff. But what he's been able to do and his focus on repairing that defense, yes, you're minus Luke Kuechly, but let's throw in a handful of other guys who can make things happen, starting with Gross-Matos and guys like Derek Brown. And you've got yourself I wouldn't say a contender, but a formidable team that if you take lightly, they're going to kick your ass. Well, they're going to end up beating you.
He's going to see Tommy Brady,
Yeah,
twice a year.
Right,
so, I can't agree more too. I thought Carolina did a good thing and draft heavy. I mean, Matt Rule knows what he's doing. Now,
I call him the fighting rules.
Is the jump from Big 12 to NFC South going to be too much for him to handle? But we'll see.
Everybody says that, and I've seen that on a couple of shows where people are saying, you're talking about a college head coach making a jump to the NFL and things like that. I think the bottom line is that Matt Rule knows how to get a program going, and he's young enough and he's fiery enough, and I think that he can right the ship there. It's not to say that Ron Rivera had it going in such a terrible direction, but it was getting older or aged, I was going to say. But, I can't see that it not improving. Now, is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. It's going to take some time because they got to solve the quarterback position there. And you know as well as I do that, and CJ and I have talked about this, you want to be good down the middle of your team, from your quarterback to your running back, from your running back to your quarterback to your center to your defensive front, your front 2 in there, your 3 and your 1 to your linebackers and your secondary, your safety particularly. And that's not all in place right now with them. So I don't see them making earth-shattering moves, but I also don't see them falling apart completely like they threw in the towel and they're just completely rebuilding. I don't see that at all with Matt Rule. I just don't see that. And that's just my 2 cents.
Well, then who do you have?
I took the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys had a solid draft. Number 1, you throw CeeDee Lamb. Okay, they tagged.
I just hate the Cowboys. It's fine. That's just a personal vendetta.
They got the franchise tag on Dak Prescott, so they don't have to worry about his contract right now, so that they can, over the time, you can work in a guy like freaking CeeDee Lamb. You get what's his name, Neville Gilmore from Oklahoma. You get Reggie Robinson from Tulsa, the cornerback from Tulsa. And you get quarterback Trayvon Diggs from freaking Alabama, and your defense just got a whole lot better. And that's been their suspect because that's been their big thing is
you're
that
forgetting
quarterback.
about one thing there.
Yeah.
What?
Ben DiNucci.
The Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Dookie.
and
I'm sorry.
Rondell Carter, who signed an
Yeah,
undrafted.
I
Did he
saw
sign
that.
with them? I didn't realize he signed
I
with
was
them.
thinking CJ was going to throw the Rondell Carter out
Yeah.
there. I watched that kid play for
That cat's
4
good.
years. He is good. He is really good. And to top it all off, he's a quality kid. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
he's a freaking,
Knucklehead.
he's a good.
anything?
He was a good student. He was
Oh,
a
he's
great.
a double major.
Really?
Yeah, he was in finance and also public administration.
Wow.
So he'll know what to do with that money.
Yes, he will.
If he gets a contract, he'll know what to do with that money. So you got this great kid getting into a program, the Dallas Cowboys, with plenty of money. And if he can find a way to get on that team and make an impact, I think you're going to have a special talent with him, and he's only going to get better.
Right.
When I was down there visiting with JMU, I talked to their defensive coordinator, and he was remarking about how all 32 NFL teams had been there, and their main focus was Rondell. And they wanted to see him. They wanted to see him practice and perform and talk to him and see what kind of he should be on my Diamonds in the Rough sheet. I picked 3 kids, but he could certainly be on there. I don't know about Ben DiNucci, but that's okay. He's going to get a shot. He's going to get a shot.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask of a kid like that playing at a FCS school.
I mean, there was connections though. Mike McCarthy's from the Pittsburgh area. I believe some connection when he was with the Packers that Ben DiNucci somehow knew. So like they were familiar with him. And but yeah, Pine Richland. I remember there's another former Pitt quarterback, baby, in the league.
And if you haven't noticed, Vigna is a huge Pitt Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Just as Shady McCoy would say, LaShawn McCoy, Pitt Panthers. When he's with the Eagles. So I like what the Cowboys are doing. I like the direction they're going. I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys, but it's not like I don't like it's not that I was never a big fan of Jason Garrett, probably is more than anything else. But I liked several of their players. I really liked a lot of their players.
Oh yeah.
I think Dak Prescott is a well-rounded kid. I think he's still got a lot of learning to do yet, but he can run, he can throw, he makes pretty good decisions. There's nothing wrong with that. He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
For as much as I don't like him, Sean Lee is still one of my favorite players to watch.
And I've never been a super fan of a guy like Sean Lee, but I still respect the fact that he is. If he'd have been healthy for the large majority of his career, you could have classified him in the same category as
Luke
Luke
Kuechly.
Kuechly,
Hands
just
down.
for his awareness of the game and how things move.
Well, he played at Penn State.
Well, he
so-
played at Penn State, yeah. So I
Because
mean,
Penn State's going to be, they're going to be taking out another linebacker next year,
Yeah,
Micah
Mike
Parsons.
Parsons,
He will go high in the draft. I promise you that.
Right. I can't think off my notes where the other kid from Penn State went.
Who?
They had a linebacker.
Cam Brown? Are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think he went. I forget where he went.
I can't. Off the top of my head, there's so many guys I can't even imagine. But
I think Jerry just needs to start doing the draft on his $250 million yacht.
Yeah, what the hell
I
does that
mean,
was he on a porn set or something over there?
That was his yacht.
That's
He
his
must have made
yacht?
some. Yeah, he must have made some good picks. I
Dude,
mean, he
oh
had
my
he had
God.
his wife or girlfriend or woman,
Whatever.
or whoever she is,
lady friend.
holding the phone for him to talk, and it was just like, oh my!
and he was sitting front and center on the arc or the rounded.
I just can't
couch.
believe that's a yacht.
It's a floating house, is what it is.
Oh, so speaking of like houses and everything, the Cliff
Oh,
Kingsbury
my God.
house is like everyone was talking about
that's
that.
like huge. That's huge Twitter talk right now.
Yeah, who the fuck has lawn separating in the floors? And you're 20. What's he's like 29 years old,
No,
30 years old.
No, he's not. He's
He's
older
gotta
than
Okay,
be-
that.
like let's say 35
gotta be
at the
older than
max.
that.
Not even that old, I don't think.
Okay,
I
so
got
he's
shoes
older than
older
me.
than that kid.
And that house literally looks like he was PFT from PMT is like that's the type of house that you literally take someone out into the middle of the desert and murder them in a nice
He's
house
40.
like that. He's 40.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury's 40.
If I'm 30, I remember when he was at Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Slinging
he
it
had,
around.
And then he had a career in the NFL.
He had a decent career. He was
Yeah.
a backup.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And
had some
what was it?
spot starts.
Dave Gettleman. We found out that like why he had the mask on.
Because I think he was recovering from
Yeah,
was it
It was
leukemia?
remission.
Who?
Yeah.
Dave Gettleman.
The
Oh.
Giants.
He actually had an IT guy in there with him to help out with all that stuff. And apparently on national television, like Max Kellerman tried to make fun of him for it, and like everyone stared at him like
Max
"You-
Kellerman
you
can
really-"
fall off the
He's-
planet Earth today, and I wouldn't lose
people-
2 seconds of sleep.
What does he know about sports? He was a boxing announcer. That's where he
People
got
love
his claim
to
to
say
fame.
like all he does is for an act, and it's like, well, ever since he's began, I've never liked him because ever since he said Tom Brady is a bum and he'll fall off a cliff, and I'm like, ever since he said that, he's won 3 Super Bowls since that, and he's been to 4 of them.
Yeah,
like
that's-
I don't understand
classic.
his
Yeah.
like he just will not. He is so damn persistent with everything that he says.
Right. My whole thing is that Max Kellerman's shtick to me is
It's
that,
up his ass.
Well, no, that's a stick, but his shtick is to be the shit stirrer. And so he is a stick playing a shtick, and that's to get people riled up because that means people respond to that. That's where
I wouldn't want that job to say Kawhi's better than Kobe in clutch moments because he
if
said
you-
that, and I go, "What the fuck?"
if
did
you're
he just
if
say?
you're getting paid about
if he's
10
getting 6
fingers in terms of millions of dollars, I would be saying that if I
no
were.
way
Yeah.
he's getting that.
I don't know. No, I'm
That's
not-
what Stephen A. is getting.
Well,
That's
he's probably
not
getting
Max.
like maybe 5, maybe
Okay,
5. but-
five.
well, you know
finger.
what? I will say this about Max Kellerman. He works really hard to be that douche.
Yeah,
And he pulls it off. He's like in traditional wrestling lingo, he's a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
He's a heel. Yeah.
he's definitely 100% heel. He's not a face guy. That's Stephen A. Stephen A is the guy that he's your freaking Jeff Jarrett. You hated him at first, but then you grew to love him. And that's how Jeff Jarrett was.
Okay,
you
Yeah.
know?
but I look at like a guy like Skip Bayless, and I don't know how anyone ever listens to that man because he is just. There's a video of like Skip Bayless arguing with Skip Bayless, and it is madness listening to those two. It's just we're getting off topic.
Who else?
but
Who else we
anyway.
got as winners? Winners.
The
So we
Green
got
Bay
Ravens-
Packers, baby.
You as a
Because
winner?
Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
You got them as a winner,
Yeah, because I hate Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
but realistically, like
All right, I got another winner.
I just have that in the back of my heart.
And they had 0 first-round picks.
Are you gonna say
Should've-
Chicago?
Nope.
Are you gonna say Pittsburgh?
Nope.
Because don't say
Yeah.
Pittsburgh because they're not that big of a winner.
Indianapolis.
Oh my God, the
sorry.
Jonathan Taylor pick.
Indianapolis.
Marlon Mack
Indianapolis.
in the
They get
backfield
Michael
with him as
Pittman
well.
Jr. from USC, big time receiver. They get Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin, and they also, who is my diamond in the rough, they get 6'6" freaking Jacob Eason as their backup behind freaking Philip Rivers, their new transplant. Now,
Nice, he can
Now-
teach him how to have some kids.
yeah, I hope Jason Eason better take notes and stay away. Jason,
Just
Jason,
stay
if
the
you're
fuck
listening,
away,
Jacob, if you're listening, stay away from Philip Rivers because he will poke holes in your condoms. And the next thing you know, you're going to have 8 kids like him or 9 or however many he has. But he's got a bunch.
And it's
he's
okay. It's
he's
okay to cuss,
Dominic,
Jacob.
What's his name? Dominic Rogers Cromartie,
Oh.
who's got like 19 kids.
No,
or
no,
something.
that's Antonio Cromartie.
Oh, Antonio Cromartie.
It's
Sorry,
Antonio.
Dom.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's Antonio Cromartie.
All right. But
10 kids, 11 women.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
10 kids to 11 women, really?
Was he
Go
trying to
something,
like
something like that?
how?
Yeah, that's-
like
That-
how?
You're a fucking math teacher, dude. 10 kids to 11 women.
The stories that I've read about that, guys.
Yeah. The Crow is what they called him. They called him Crow. Crow.
and he was a good NFL cornerback.
Yeah, he was.
What
Yeah.
the hell?
Yeah, he was really good. So I'm thinking Colts. I also got to throw out there to Miami Dolphins.
I was
14
gonna say
picks.
I was gonna
14
say
picks.
that.
You start with Tua. Everybody's throwing out the fact that he's had
But
the
they
hip
got
injury and
they
he's had a
got
couple.
O-line help.
Yes,
and that's
they
where
did.
they struggled.
Austin Jackson. They got USC, the tackle from USC, who's got great feet, great maneuverability. What's his name? Igbeganagay, the kid from freaking Auburn, the cornerback.
Corner, yeah. The Nigerian.
Yes, solidify your defense with good cover corner guy. I think that the Dolphins and their 14 picks have to rate up there in the A- B super high, B plus, A minus range. When you think about a team that was, for all intents and purposes, tanking last year, tanking to get to it. Well, they got him. So we'll see.
And they didn't even tank all the way.
And they didn't tank all the way because you saw down the stretch, they started to play some good football. So Brian Flores, I think, has a lot of stuff in his lap to try and turn around the Dolphins program. And how could you not be pleased with the fact that you got what you got?
And they got younger.
Yes.
So they got younger. They got speed. You know, you got a quarterback that hopefully they don't rush along. They, let him play behind Fitzpatrick in practice, run scout team.
Learn it.
A
lot of people are throwing out the fact that Tua, and I've heard this, I don't know from how many people, and I've read this article and that article, but when you look at Tua and his movements and stuff like that, they're comparing him to Drew Brees, they're comparing him to Steve Young, they're comparing him to all of those situations.
Please don't, though. I hate
we'll
that.
see.
He hasn't done anything.
I know, but I
yet.
hate comparisons to those.
Well, the only comparison
I
I don't mind about Drew Brees is Drew Brees came into the league a little banged up and a little injured and stuff, and then before you knew it, when he was at the Chargers, he ended up having major shoulder surgery, and he was having a good career and things like that at that point, but it didn't start out that way. So hopefully Tua will get healthy.
I mean, Tua is not the biggest quarterback either.
Right. And hopefully he doesn't have to play this year. That would be great if he didn't play this year and spent some time learning the system with Kirkpatrick and
Fitzpatrick. How many times do you keep saying that?
I don't know why I do that. I don't know. Maybe it's this Irish beer. Patty Kilpatrick.
So another winner I would kind of have to say is Philly. I like,
a lot of people have said that.
Every time he says that, I keep thinking of the Tommy Boy reference. A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Yeah, they're called doctors. That was on TV the other day. It cracks me up.
But I think that Jalen Hurts, it was good to see him get picked. It's crazy that, he was in the Heisman race and he was going to be picked lower than some of those quarterbacks who weren't in the Heisman race. And it's instead he's going to Philly, and I'm glad to see it because now he can be a backup to Carson. You get a formidable backup who has proven time and time again that he could be a good backup and come in when situations need him to, because Carson has been injury prone. He is very much so. And then you get a guy.
But he's going to a great coach, though, too.
I know
that's the thing. It's a great situation for him, and you heard a lot of the experts and a lot of articles say it's all about the fit. It's about where you go. It's not about maybe how high you're taking or how low you're taking. It's about, can you get the right coaches that can put you in the right situation?
And then they also get a kid out of TCU. That was their first round draft pick, Jalen Reagor, who is a short, speedy guy. I think that they're going to need somebody after, Deshaun Jackson gets another tummy ache. So they'll need somebody to fill the role there. And then, of course, they have another kid out of Colorado who is an outside linebacker. Well, no, he was their Mike linebacker. So they get another, which is something that they do need with the loss of Bradham. They do need somebody there. So I think that the Eagles have picked up some players that need to fill their roles and have filled the spots that need to have them be successful. Because clearly it's not the offensive line. It's not the quarterback. It's not the running back. It's not the offense in general, really. You just need to fill some voids on the defense, and you'll be fine.
Well, they also got Marquise Goodwin, too. So
yes, exactly. They got another speed demon. So, Jesus.
Even though people were, giving them a hard time, but not taking wide receivers, one of the top guys they still traded for the guy that's proven.
Yeah.
himself.
Speaking of teams taking wide receivers, why is it every year that the fucking Raiders just do this all the time?
Well, that's into the next. That's in my losers bracket.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead there. We spent about 28 minutes on the winners, so let's go into the losers then.
All right.
Start us off with the Raiders because I was going to.
Let's start with the Raiders. They take Henry Ruggs from Alabama. Speed. What, he run a 4.27 or something like that? Something crazy number.
He's
They
fast.
took him over CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, and we've
And
said
Justin
this,
Jefferson and all these other guys.
They went after this guy, and I'm not sure why.
Because Al Davis was haunting John Gruden, sitting there going, "Just win, baby," just sitting there saying that. That has to be it.
Right? They took no wide receivers. They took Ruggs, but they drafted no freaking offensive lineman. None. They took Ohio State's Damon Arnett, who wasn't even the cornerback from Ohio State, who wasn't even considered a first rounder.
They stuck to their board. Apparently, Mayock has high grades on him, but
yeah, but still, I get Mike Mayock
might
know what he's doing and things like that. But why did you do that? I mean, I don't understand. When you could have had, you had draft stock. I mean, you got him from the Bears. You had plenty of choices, and then with those choices that early in the draft, you didn't take key guys that you could. I mean, we talked about Jerry Jeudy being the best all-around route runner that there was out of all of the receivers that were coming out this year, and they passed him over. And then they passed up CeeDee Lamb. They let Dallas have him. So I for the life of me, I can't understand what they were thinking when they did it. So I dropped them into my losers bracket. Now, can Gruden in the next, well, how many years has he been doing it now? 2 years? He's got 8 years left on his contract. He better do something. He got 10 years, $100 million. He better do something with the product that they're putting out on the field. Not to mention that they're walking into a brand new stadium in a whole new market. They better produce, or I could see John Gruden get cut loose, and Mike Mayock and the rest of those guys, because they were brought in there as celebrated individuals to resurrect this great and once storied Raiders franchise. And I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening this year. So we'll see. It remains to be seen.
Okay. Well, one of my losers is it's not a secret. It's the Jets. I think that the Jets went wrong. I understand that Becton was on the board. He was available, but so was Jeudy and so was Lamb. And you get rid of Robbie Anderson, who leaves in free agency. Now, who does Sam Darnold have to throw to right now?
Lev Bell.
Anybody else? He's not a receiver.
I don't even know who's on the roster.
Yeah, exactly. You can't.
I gotta go look this up.
And that's what I'm saying, that it's good that you're getting some offensive line help, but his receivers, the Jets have had nobody successful in a long time, especially in the passing attack. And then it seems like after that, drafting Mekhi Becton, they go after two defensive players from Florida, California, and then they get a speedy guy from actually Denzel Mims from Baylor, who's a wide receiver. But other than that, that's what their offense relies on right now, is the hinges of that guy coming in. Because Le'Veon Bell, he's like, fuck, I'm going to get no breaks this offseason now. He's just not.
They did take Denzel Mims from Baylor, and they have,
I got to go back on my statement about the Raiders. They did pick a guard. That was it. That was their one offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You're not finding anybody for the Jets. Yeah,
I'm trying to, but I can't.
And you had options in Jeudy and Lamb at the time. You also had Jefferson. You also had other guys. But no, you chose an offensive lineman, but at the time, I would have waited on that. I would have waited on that to the second round.
Yeah.
To find a formidable offensive attack there to help out Darnold.
Yeah. And they take a quarterback too, the kid from I get Bowling Green via Florida International.
which is a classic.
Jets move.
It's a classic. Too bad we don't have Gino on to tell us about that. But yeah,
It was cold. It scared me.
I got another one, and I'm going to throw it out there at the top of mine. And we started it off with this. It's Green Bay.
You're damn right.
They chose no wide receivers. They traded up to get Jordan Love of Utah State. That's their first pick, was to draft a quarterback, and they moved up to get him. They didn't draft a single wide receiver. They picked running back A.J. Dillon.
He's a man.
I know. He's good. I don't get that. But you already have Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, who have proven to be solid, a tandem in the backfield already. So you drafted a quarterback in the first round by moving up to get him, and you have a consensus first ballot Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers, who is only 36 years old. He's probably got several seasons left in him, who's still got plenty of juice in that arm. I've never seen anybody just flick his wrist and throw the ball 40 yards down the field like he does.
Yeah, well, you can eat shit.
Yeah, I know you. I know how much you like him because of the State Farm commercials or whatever it is.
No, that's not it at all.
I know.
I'm just tired of this mythical being that people are putting on him when in the past 10 years, congrats on the MVP seasons. You haven't done shit.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything that makes me think that you are the best quarterback that has ever lived in Sunday Night Football, doing something on you with Tom Brady, saying like, you might be up there with Tom Brady as one of the greatest ever. What?
I think he's.
Are you kidding me?
I think he has all the two. Well,
it's all the intangibles. I get that.
I don't know if he's up there with the greats of all time,
but also he's a grade A asshole. If you look at him, he
does rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
I get all that, but the thing that
very
gets
antisocial,
and everybody talks about him, and it was just like, you know what? He sat how many seasons behind Brett Favre before
3, I think
3 to 4 seasons before he ever stepped on the field. So he's in the same position as this Jordan Love kid is before, and then it strikes you. Well, Peyton Manning did it. Peyton Manning played with the Colts for umpteen years, shipped out to freaking Denver, did his thing in Denver. Bet Favre was in freaking Green Bay. He shipped out to play in Minnesota, and he did it. Joe Montana, he played in San Francisco. He shipped out. He played in Kansas City. Tom Brady played his 20 years in freaking, and now he shipped off to Tampa Bay. And so it falls in line with the same kind of thinking. He looks like Brett Kiesel right now. And everybody's talking about that kind of thing. And you even look at that. Steve Young played with freaking Joe Montana for like 5 or 6 seasons as a backup, and he's still a Hall of Famer. So I'm not putting Jordan Love in this classic backup role, but he stands to learn a ton behind Aaron Rodgers.
If the GM thought that this could be the quarterback for the next decade.
I love this kid. I've watched his film. I've read about him. He's got all of the skills to be that next great quarterback, but he's going to have to wait his time. He is not ready to step. He's just not ready to step on the field.
And I think that's why they took him then.
And so why not?
But like, I don't think you can blame Matt LaFleur. I don't think he had any say in it, because think about it.
Oh, I think he did.
NFL coaches' shelf lives around these parts are what, 2-3 years?
I think he
did. But if he doesn't win, if he doesn't win now,
unless you're Kitchens,
yeah,
then
sure.
Then you
no one cares.
Then you got a kitchen fire and you're done.
But I think
wear a Pittsburgh started shirt to Pittsburgh and say like, "Oh, that had nothing to do with us getting our ass kicked. That had nothing to do with
yeah." So I just I think that LaFleur is in a tough position. That will he be around to be able to coach him if they don't produce now? If Aaron Rodgers shuts down, he had to win Aaron Rodgers over one time. I think this is more on the GM looking towards the future.
Yeah, it could be. It could definitely be. And this could be signaling the eventual departure of Aaron Rodgers to somewhere else in 2 seasons. It could be.
Or it may not. I didn't for as much as I give crap about him, it may not. People seem to think that I'll still go back to the Jimmy G thing. Jimmy G comes in and they're like, oh, they're already thinking about getting rid of Tom Brady. Boom, he wins 3 more Super Bowls as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy G also comes in for 4 games during the one season where he got suspended. Boom, he wins the Super Bowl that year. Like, nope, he's not going to be the starter. He will not, I promise.
I got 2 more losers. Denver Broncos.
You really think they're
Really?
a loser?
I think so.
They got speed, buddy.
I know they took 2 receivers and they didn't take a single offensive tackle, not one.
Oh, they're
And
okay.
they have
Yeah.
been susceptible to penalties and sacks from their tackle position. It's just been I've read
from BYU. Yeah,
I've read about their fiasco. And yeah, you got this great speed, and then you have this. What's his name? The quarterback. What's his name? Drew Lock. You got this young talent and stuff like that, but if you don't keep him upright, you could have the best talent on the field, and it's not going to do anything for you because you're not going to be able to get the ball down the field.
He's not Big Ben and can win a Super Bowl with the terrible offensive line or anything.
And then they draft the one offensive lineman that they drafted was that Cushenberry kid from LSU, and he is a lineman of the future. So they didn't draft anything but speed, but protection and durability at this point is still suspect. It just is. And then my other one is my beloved Bears. You know, we didn't.
They got Khalil Mack's brother on an undrafted free agent.
We had no draft capital, and I say we because I've been with the Bears since I was freaking 13 years old, right? Since Viet freaking Nam. I've been with the Bears since I was like 13, 14 years old. So I say we. We had no first rounders. Okay, we gave it up. We got Khalil Mack. He's probably one of the best defenders in the game, and it had to happen.
It's not probably. He is one of the best.
Well, he is. I mean, when I say one of the best, I'm talking you have to account for him or he is going to ruin your freaking day. He's going to ruin your team for that day that you play them. He's going to completely fuck them up.
Nobody out of Buffalo gets drafted in the top 5 picks of an NFL draft unless you're really good.
Right. So you draft Cole Kmet, the tight end from Notre Dame. But you signed Jimmy Graham a month before that.
And then you released Trey Burton as well.
Well, yeah, I can understand that, though. I do. I mean.
No, but I'm saying that is also something that goes out the window
right?
for the Bears.
You draft the quarterback, Jalen Johnson from Utah, and he's a pretty good pick. That's a pretty solid pick. But we had way more needs at that. Our offensive line, quite frankly, is not where it needs to be. And so you're going to rely on late 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, and you're going to unrestricted free agent guys that you're going to bring in to try and protect freaking Nick Foles and Mitchell T. Right? You're going to try and protect those 2 guys with a makeshift offensive line. I just saw needs in other places that the Bears didn't address. And does that come down to front office? Does it come down to Coach Nagy? What were you thinking when you picked Cole Kmet when you knew Jimmy Graham was in your lap a month before the draft? What does that tell you what does that say to Jimmy Graham? You brought me here, coach, and then you drafted another kid?
Well, I don't think he was planning to stay there until the second coming of Jesus.
I get that, but he's still there. I mean, they signed him for what, $9 million?
2 years, $9 million?
Something like that. So you spent $9 million on a freaking tight end who's been less than spectacular in the last 5 seasons
since he left New Orleans.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, I question what the Bears were thinking when they did it. So that's where I stand with them. So I considered one of my losers. So my biggest loser overall, I thought, was the Raiders, just simply because they didn't address any of their offensive line, but other than selecting a guard. The Broncos, they chose no tackles. They went pure speed, no tackles. Green Bay didn't pick a single wide receiver, drafted a running back for which they still had 2, and they moved up to pick a quarterback, quote unquote, a quarterback of the future. So I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, I was less than. I was kind of less. I wasn't very happy with the way Pittsburgh kind of drafted as well. I mean, Chase Claypool,
Minka
if he was the
Fitzpatrick.
best,
You got
that
your
we
Minka.
could get, yeah. I mean, but you're in
Minka
a situation with
Fitzpatrick.
you're in the same situation with Chicago where they had to give up everything in the
You're
kitchen
gonna-
sink. for
First
Khalil
time
Mack.
since I believe the 70s they did not have a first round pick.
And how'd that end up?
Something crazy.
It ended
So
in 4
you're
Super
gonna-
Bowls.
You're going to qualify Minka Fitzpatrick in the same vein as Khalil Mack.
Did you see how he turned around that defense? Let's be
What did I
honest.
tell you
Look,
about down the center?
Well, it's what happens when you have
well,
Sean
he was
Davis. Who
he
isn't
was
that-
don't get me started on that jackwad.
No, I'm saying that
and I don't like the Antoine Brooks pick, even though all my buddies that are Maryland fans are saying that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
He came from Maryland.
from
Tech.
Maryland. Yeah, no, I'm saying from Maryland.
I always call him Maryland Tech for
Yeah.
some
you
reason.
know the college that almost got shut down
Well,
because a kid passed out.
I mean, I just think he's going to be another Mark Barron, but that's another day, another
and
story.
he's gone now.
He's another day,
he's
another
gone.
story. But what Minka did, he was playing corner for the Dolphins. Minka's not a corner; he's a safety. And
Yeah, I
now
think-
he's
they
at his.
tried to make him. I think they tried. They struggled to find out where they could use him with his most talents, and they should have used him at safety, because I think
he's a
that's
natural safety.
that's what he was believing, and I think one of the reasons why he wanted to get out of Miami is because he's being flopped around. I'm playing this corner, I'm playing this. I'm like this hybrid secondary guy, and he didn't want to be that way.
right.
And he felt his talents were being wasted. So, and I get that, and I get that. So,
I mean, he's only 22, and he was all pro. And
we got somebody online,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Brian.
Brian,
Hey, what's
Yeah.
up?
the professor.
Yeah, he's in here.
Nice.
He's listening. We had another person come in, My T Sports Podcast,
Hey,
and they were
so I should text.
disappointed that you didn't say Green Bay first. Apparently, so they.
Oh no, Green
But
Bay
you
was
did.
Green Bay was at the top of my list,
He
man.
said 37 wide receivers were in this draft. Apparently,
Yeah, and they chose none. Green Bay was at the top of my list, so I'm definitely up there. I'm definitely up on that one. So we got to get.
Let me throw this
Can
one.
we
up.
get? If
throw-
I get the professor's phone number to you, he can call in,
well,
right?
no, he can call in on here. I mean, he can just.
So-
if he has a mic on his computer.
So,
or his
Professor, if
laptop.
you got your laptop, go ahead and call in, and we'll take you live on the show right now
Well,
if you need to.
Let me just throw out.
So, but because he's a huge Pittsburgh fan too, so he
Alright.
might argue, and he would love to hammer the Jets. I guarantee he would love.
I don't think
Well,
that they
love to
has
hammer the
anybody
Jets.
good.
I think. I'm just disappointed that they did not take a different running back. Like McFarland is good, but they need a different. I'm not sold on Benny Snell. James Conner is injury prone.
Yes, he is. I don't want to say
Yeah.
that, but he is. He's been banged up.
When are we talking about the Buffalo Bills?
Well, they're not.
well,
Is that Brad?
yeah.
Is that Brad?
What?
Is that Brad?
Yeah.
Who's talking about the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah.
Brad?
Brad.
Who's Brad?
Brad's my buddy from Pennsylvania.
Oh,
My high school,
Yes,
one of
sir.
my high school friends.
yeah.
That's Brad. And I wanted to throw the Bills into my freaking winners bracket, just simply because of a couple of things. I think the Bills were up there. I just narrowed my choice, Brad. Sorry, buddy. I just narrowed my choice down to 4, but I definitely think the Bills drafted well. I think they did. I think they added plenty of ammunition. I think the Bills are headed. The Bills are going to be dangerous.
They might win.
They could win.
The
that
East.
they could win. Definitely.
Here's my thing. I think it's between the Bills and
Miami.
and the Dolphins.
Yeah. I
Because
said that
guess
a couple
what?
Weeks ago.
I have the New England Patriots for the first time, I think, in my entire life as a draft loser. I do not like what they did.
Dude, I'm still saying tanking for Lawrence. I am in all
I'm
the way
just-
for them tanking for Lawrence.
I just don't like what they did. They will win the East. Yes.
It's like, yeah, they will.
I mean,
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
They
don't
have
think
it.
so.
They have everything it takes to win. You know, as long as they keep Josh Allen healthy.
They took that freaking kid from Iowa. What Epinesa?
AJ Epinoza or
Epinesa. That cat can play. That dude can play.
and they got the only Pitt Panther drafted, baby.
But I'm saving my diamond
No,
in the rough. So Brad,
He's
Brad-
former.
Oh, he's a
Coming
former
up,
Pitt Panther.
the number 3, the 86th overall kid in round number 3 is my diamond in the rough, man, Zach Moss. But I'll get to him later. I think they answered another question. They also picked up Jake Fromm from Georgia.
I think that's a steal.
I think that's a steal
because he's going to be a good backup quarterback.
I was talking to you. I was talking to CJ's
A
mother
good,
about that.
very
She goes,
good
what do you
backup.
think about Jake Fromm? And I said, well, I think the Buffalo Bills belong to freaking Josh Allen at this point.
Yes.
And he got a nice little taste of what it means to be in the playoffs right now. And we're in a freaking really good football game. And so I think he takes that next step up. He's big, he's strong, he can extend a play, he can chuck the ball down the field. But taking Jake Fromm is a young kid who's only a couple years behind Josh Allen, and who could give you a nice little break until maybe Josh Allen gets healthy again. But I think it would be foolish if Buffalo didn't throw all of their money at Josh Allen for the future and say, we want this kid to be around a while. So I think they did. I think the Bills drafted very, very well. I think I could have put them in my top 5, but I made a list of 4, Brad. So I apologize that I only made a list of 4, but those were my big standouts on the winners. But Buffalo's definitely in there.
Barkley's contract ends this year, so
Yeah.
he'll be the number 2, is what Brad's saying.
Yeah. So
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to Diamond in the Rough then.
diamond in the rough.
I'll start. It's another Duke that he wasn't drafted, but like, okay, I love Rondell. I think he's a great guy, but the other guy on the other side of the field with him is John Daka.
Daka. Oh,
God.
that name was all over the.
He got Baltimore to sign him to an undrafted.
Get a
Contract.
chance. Got a chance
The
contract.
thing about Daka is that he is very, very explosive. I mean, Rondell he has all the attributes. He's big, he's fast. So does Daka. And
Yeah.
he's even better. He led the FCS in sacks. And in second was Rondell Carter. He was right there with him. So you're talking about 2 guys on the same defensive line who were great together.
Yeah. I mean, when you add 2 bookend guys like that who can play freaking as well as they did, it's no wonder that they represent the backbone of JMU's freaking defense. So why didn't Brad call in? Why doesn't he just call in and get his voice on the freaking radio
I don't know.
or on there? Just call in, Brad, if you get a chance. Just call in and throw your 2 cents in the freaking Buffalo Bills. Because finally, the Bills fans
Okay,
have
he
something to
wants to
cheer
call
for.
in.
All right,
There he
calling
comes.
in. Here he comes. All right, we're going to get you online here, Brad. You in? All right, here we go. You're on with Pub Talk, Brad.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
coming through nice and clear,
Nice
brother.
and clear.
I got my PlayStation headset hooked up to my phone, so
No, it's perfect. You're coming through loud and clear. It's perfect. Good digital sound. Hey, thanks for coming on, dude. So, in
hey,
case,
absolutely.
in case our fans don't know about this, Brad and I go back 40 years probably, since we were probably in
Yeah.
7th, 8th grade together. Brad went to a rival.
Well, no, I think it was you. You went to Antietam. I was at East, so I didn't meet you until high school.
No, we probably ran into each other in the basketball games. I remember you and your twin
Yeah.
brother Jimmy playing and stuff like that back in 8th and 9th grade and stuff like that. So, I mean, I knew of
Oh, I played in middle school, yeah, or junior high.
Yeah. We had junior high back then.
That's right.
Junior high was 7th, 8th, and 9th. And they went to this Jimmy and Brad, Brad has a twin brother and Jimmy. They went to this old ass freaking junior high school that looks like in our area, Brad, if you were around this
Frederick
area.
County?
No. It looks like James Wood Middle School.
Oh.
It is a classic. James Wood Middle School, for Brad's sake, is a classic, slightly smaller reproduction of East Junior High School, dude. It's almost exactly down to the little Banty box, little gymnasium with only like 4 rows of bleachers. It's really small. But so he went to the rival junior high. And then when we got to high school, by the time we were in 10th grade and stuff like that. So Brad and I, we probably go back farther than we're gonna. Our reunion, our 35th class reunion, is this summer. So Brad and I go back almost 40 years together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and if we're going to talk pub talk, we'll talk about it was probably 37 years
Oh
when
no!
we had our first beer together.
Don't say that. That puts me underage, brother. Don't do that.
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, we were 21 when we first drank our beers.
But we did. We shared some great freaking memories together. Brad is a freaking old friend way back. And it's awesome to hear your voice, man. We are going to do our best to get Brad to come down and sit at the freaking table in the pub and do the show with us. He's a huge sports fan, huge Buffalo Bills fan. And I don't know.
I've
So
only
it's
met
good to
two
have you.
Buffalo Bills fans in my life, and they're both college professors.
Yeah,
So-
well, you just met your
No, I
third
met
and
my
Brad
third.
Kohler. Right. So, but
Well, I met you, CJ, but it was a long time ago.
It had to
He
be.
was a little
because that's all
He's
I
not a
remember
little
from
boy anymore.
Pennsylvania.
He's not
That's
a
all
little
I
boy.
remember.
he's not a little boy.
Wait, was he a little boy?
No, I never was.
No.
So go ahead, Brad. Fire off on your freaking Buffalo Bills and your thing, but don't you dare spoil my Zach Moss freaking.
Oh, I won't. Well, I was going to say that you probably didn't put him in the top four because they didn't have a first round pick,
right.
but they should have been in the top four because they didn't have a first round pick. If you know what I mean.
Well,
Brandon Beane's a genius, dude.
yeah, I think they got a great receiving core. They got a great quarterback. Their offensive line is efficient and protective enough to make sure that Josh Allen gets the throws down the field. So,
Yes.
whatever they added to an already fledgling playoff team, they're going to get nothing but better. So,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we had that game last year. We blew it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But
let me ask you that question to go off the draft. Was that a touchdown when the guy caught the ball on the kickoff, the opening kickoff of the second half, and threw the ball on the ground?
Yes, it
Was that should have been a touchdown?
Yes, that's been called everywhere else. That's happened in college, where if he doesn't kneel down and he just hands the ball to the ref, that the play is free there. That's happened many times before.
yeah,
That should have been a touchdown.
it's
Yes.
yeah. You hate for
And
something to
especially
come down
for Tony Correnti to
Yes.
go against what he did. I'm
right.
surprised because
Right.
he's the mother of all BS calls.
Right, and you know as well, Correnti, his crew is the most penalizing crew
Yeah.
in the NFL. They throw more flags than anybody by like a 2-1 margin.
Vigno, they're responsible for Jesse James.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know.
I
They're-
cringe when I see him as the white hat.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Maybe that's why they had the 4 extra referees at that game.
They brought the black coat from the side onto the field as well to say like, whoa, you can't do that
you
right now.
can't, you can't do
This
that.
is the
We're
playoffs, man.
don't make
We
that.
can't let the Bills win.
Damn it, Anthony! Didn't you know that the Bills can't win? They call him Anthony instead of Tony.
yeah, coach, we got that one.
But
All right, so yeah, back to the draft. I thought we had a great draft, and the Jake Fromm, my son's a Bills fan, Bryce, and he just didn't understand. And I've said, dude, it's genius pick because Barkley's contract's going to go up, and he's got 1 year, and then it wouldn't surprise me if Barkley becomes the quarterback coach there. So,
Huh?
but I just think it was thought we had a good draft top to bottom.
Wow.
well, yeah, and I like my diamond in the rough. I think that adds something to that
Oh.
offense that is going to be pretty special. Just takes it to another level.
It does.
Yeah. So because I think he was a steal just simply because at the combine he was not healthy at the combine, but he did what he did at the combine, and his draft stock fell because of that. But once he gets healthy, forget it. I think it's going to be a huge addition to the Bills' offense. So we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't disagree. So what did you think about our other picks and pans. What did you think about our winners? Who else did you think was a big winner?
Honestly, I missed that part. I got on a little late because I was driving home. We went out for dinner today. We went and picked up Chick-fil-A.
I was going to say places
It's
are
my
open.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. No, so we said in our top winners list was the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Colts, and I threw in the Dolphins because they had 14 picks.
Yes,
So they were getting
Dolphins scare me,
and they as soon as they figure out what the hell
The
they're
team,
doing
not
down
the
there,
animal. Yeah.
yeah,
yes,
It's
yes.
nothing but a whale with teeth. That's all it is. Goddamn dolphins are nothing more.
Not the size of a whale. What the fuck are you talking
They're
about?
all whales with teeth. There are whales with teeth and whales without. Dolphins are a whale with teeth. That's all they are. So I just said that.
That's an argument for another day.
No, it's not an argument. It is a biological truth. That I can't argue that. I have empirical evidence to support that because I am that smart when it comes to bio, anyway. But who else did you say, Biggs, that didn't fit on my list that I had? Who else did we say?
Winners. I still say the Ravens.
Ravens,
Yeah.
and then I think we agreed on Carolina.
Yes,
and
yeah,
Matt
Carolina.
Rule,
Yes.
they're strengthening their defense in the loss of Luke Kuechly and stuff like that. So we thought Carolina was a big deal instead of what looked like they were wholesale losses to get rid of all the high price contracts, including Cam Newton and all those guys, that this was an opportunity for them to reconstruct their team without tanking for a season to do it. And we think that they strengthened their team pretty well in the draft. And then with the losers, we said Green Bay, we said the Raiders, we said the Jets, and I know you love when the Jets freaking sorry about Casey. Sorry if Casey Helmut's listening. Sorry, Casey, but the Jets lick. We said the Broncos, they took no offensive tackles from a suspect offensive line. They took only receivers. And then I threw in the Bears because the Bears are one of my fans. And I didn't think that the Bears chose wisely, especially by taking a tight end after giving a contract to freaking Jimmy Graham a month before the draft. So I don't know where you threw in your losers, but that's where we were at.
Yeah, that's that. I can't argue with any of that.
Yeah, the Raiders were just bad. I just can't believe that they took Henry Ruggs before they could have chosen CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, and they didn't take a single offensive lineman until like the 5th round or 4th round when they took a guard. So we'll see how good they end up, and that's with 2 freaking guys who are knowledgeable about players. And Mike Mayock and freaking John Gruden. Those guys know players. So we'll see what kind of situation they get themselves into this coming season.
Well, I was watching or listening to, I think it was ESPN Radio, Will Kane show, and they were busting on. It was right before the first round, and they were busting on Gruden because he kept talking about he can't believe the Raiders picked Khalil Mack over what was the quarterback that went to Cleveland? Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
They were all over him.
Yeah, at the time, they took a freaking defensive edge guy from freaking Buffalo, who turns out to be one of the best defensive players in the league in the last 5 years. He's probably number 1 freaking edge rusher. And Johnny Manziel, freaking, I don't know. He probably got a beer spilled on himself right now somewhere. And
yep, sitting in the corner.
Yeah, wondering where his career ever went because he was an idiot. So, dude, I can't thank you enough for calling in. That's awesome. That you got to come down and do the show. You sit here and have a drink at the bar and do the show with us. We'll figure out something when you want to come down here because, quite frankly, outside of CJ still works. I don't work right now. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I've been stuck at home for the last 3 weeks or whatever. It's been 4 weeks. Has it been that long?
More than 4 weeks.
Has it been?
Probably like 6.
Really? It doesn't
March
feel like that.
13th was our last.
Well, I get that, but the first couple of weeks after school ended, I was sitting at the kitchen table working like I was a regular school teacher. I mean, I was doing a lot of work. And last week represented coming to the end of all that stuff. So, in the next couple of weeks, Brad, if you have a hankering to come down on a we'll probably change the show time and the next date. We probably won't do it on a Thursday. We'll probably go back to if we want to do a Saturday, we can definitely do a Saturday, and you want to come down and bring Dawn down. That'd be awesome. You come down and spend time with us. We got plenty of room here.
Just stay 6 feet apart. That's all we ask.
We got plenty of room here.
I'd love to come down.
We got 2 empty rooms. So just waiting for somebody to come and spend some time with us. So we'll get in touch.
And maybe I'll just bring some Rough Edges beer down.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Rough Edges.
Rough Edges is our new brew pub.
Is a new brew pub that opened in Waynesboro in my old hometown. And by all accounts, John's on. Yeah. Well, so we should get Johnny Wad to call in. That would be awesome if John called in. Brad is one of my friends, but John and I go back to being 12 years old, 13 years old together. So it's been 40 years.
If he gets on, we're gonna have to do some Chuck Elise stories.
Oh my God!
Don't look at me.
We had this teacher, and his son was in sports with me and John and Brad, and we were all this group of people. And he was it wasn't called World History 2. It was called World Cultures at that time.
Yeah.
And his old man was just the best. And he was just, it was just classic shit. And we were like little stupid 10th graders sitting in that class. And we had some classic times in there. And guess what? The bitch that was sitting in front of me, and I used to pick on her and freaking, I've been married to her for 28 years. That bitch. I ended up marrying her. I didn't even know it. I didn't know it then, but I was poisoned. But I used to pick and just do stupid stuff, and she was annoyed by me. And then I don't know. It took us a while, and then eventually we meet at a class reunion, which we're gonna have this summer. And in August we're gonna
hopefully
have our 35th class reunion. Hell yeah, we're doing it anyway. Fuck that.
Yep.
In social distancing, we're gonna get ugly. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, we met at the 5-year class reunion, and I've been with her ever since. So,
wow.
Yeah, and Brad and John and Kurt Bowman and all those people were in that class, and it was just the best. We used to do some stupid shit, but that's awesome, Brad. Thanks for calling, man. That made my day, man. Yep. And so,
all right, hey, I'll jump off and just listen to the rest of the show.
Kathy listens to the show in the morning when she's getting ready for work, and so she's gonna hear this shit, and she's gonna what the hell I was thinking. How many beers did you have? But that's all right. All right, we're coming down to Diamonds in the Rough, and let's finish this up. So thanks again, Brad. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
Awesome. Brad's a good dude, man.
So I gave mine. Do you have any, Vigna?
Well, there's a lot of guys that fell that I didn't think that fell. Geno Stone from Iowa, a safety, 7th round of the Ravens.
Put another bullet in the gun.
I know. I said the Ravens, I think, had the best draft overall,
I
top
think
to bottom.
When you look at Sports Nation and you look at CBS Sports and you look at NFL.com, they rate them A+.
I just don't understand how Geno Stone fell that far to the 7th round. What's the knock on him? Is he just because he's 5'10"? I guess he's been that way his whole career. And then. We said Tyler Johnson to the Bucks there and pick 161. And then let me find my other guy. I still got to go with my D3 alumni brother, the Smoothie King, Ben Barch from St. John's.
Uh-oh.
He goes to Jacksonville. You heard what he puts in this smoothie, like eggs, like I gotta find this like nasty.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about that, I got 3 diamonds in the rough. The first one is, and I think he's going to be there, and it's Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason was picked by the Colts. You got Phillip Rivers there. You got Jacoby Brissett, Jacoby Brissett, who's probably a backup, and then you got the number 3 in Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason, 6'6". He's big. He can make all the throws out of Washington. I think that he represents a prototypical NFL quarterback who just needs some time.
Yeah,
he just needs.
He
some
hasn't
time.
played a lot.
Yeah,
one season. Let's be honest.
Effectively, one solid season. And when you think about the success of a team, and I think about this with Jordan Love is, Jordan Love was fantastic as a junior, but as a senior, his stats dropped off because he didn't have all of those guys behind him like he did when he was a junior. So right. you go with the cast of characters that are around you, and if the talent isn't there, then you're just not as successful. But I think Jacob Eason fits into that role. But you can't overlook the fact that this kid's a pro-style quarterback with a big arm who will eventually be able to overcome this newness to the NFL, and I think he could be a really, really good, efficient NFL quarterback. So Jacob Eason's definitely a diamond in the rough. And for my buddy Brad, Zach Moss, running back out of Utah, he may not be the biggest guy, but when you think about what he did at Utah, 4,000 yards rushing, 38 touchdowns, catches out of the backfield, the Buffalo Bills stole a quality running back in the draft. I really do. And I think that he's going to represent something that would be really good for Buffalo moving forward. Even if you just have to plug him in situations until he learns how to play the game. I see him as what do you have? Almost 70 catches out of the backfield. 70 catches. That's a lot of catches in a career. That's pretty good. So you figure 10 balls, at least he probably doesn't play. By the time he's a sophomore or junior in 3 years, he's catching 20 balls a year out of the backfield, making yards, 4,000 plus yards rushing. Pretty good stuff. And then the last guy is from the Patriots. They took that freaking safety from Lenore Ryan, Kyle Duggar, who has big. I mean, for a safety, I think he's pretty big, 6'1", almost 6'2", almost 220. That's a big safety. To me, that's a big safety. 150 plus solo tackles, 150 solo tackles from the safety position.
That's not good though. If you think about that,
the fact that he can tackle and he can efficiently put people on the ground. 10 interceptions, 36 pass breakups. You plug somebody like that into Bill Belichick's freaking defense, and he is going to be a diamond in the rough. And that's why I said that. I was a little skeptical that what the Patriots have 10, 11 picks, and they chose him first. So there must be something in Belichick's mindset that says that this guy can play at the next level, and he represents something that we can plug into our system. I want that guy playing in my defense. And out of all the coaches in the NFL, all of the coaches in terms of defensive coordinators and understanding of defense, nobody does it better than Bill Belichick. So he picked that cat for a reason. And so I dropped him onto my diamonds in the rough. So there's my 3 right there.
I found the recipe for Ben Bartz. You ready?
Yeah.
He gained 86 pounds in 4 years drinking this every morning.
Right? 86 pounds?
In 4 years.
What the fuck?
This is a smoothie now.
I lost almost 80 pounds in the last year.
7 scrambled eggs.
7?
In a smoothie. In a smoothie. Hold on. Cottage cheese. Grits.
Them's hominy grits.
Peanut butter. A banana. And then to top it off, a Gatorade.
In the smoothie?
In the smoothie.
How big of a container is that? How do you eat?
Please tell me there's a picture. I gotta
see. How do you? I don't know.
Like
do you drink it or do you eat it? It's got scrambled eggs. How do you drink
you
it?
blend it in the.
I get that, but what is it
Like
like?
scrambled eggs, there's no like juice or anything. It's just gonna be.
Yeah, that's what I'm
shaken.
saying.
I get that.
It's
But
just
I'm
gonna be
thinking,
But-
I'm thinking it's like a freaking Wendy's. What is that?
frosty.
The Frosty, where you can't suck it through a straw
But-
unless you were freaking a couple of. Well, never
Unless
mind.
you're like Dumb and Dumber.
Unless you
or
can
when
suck a
there's-
golf ball through a garden hose. You- you're. How do you?
Well, thank you very much.
Eight-
Can I be in
86
charge for once?
Were you about to call me an asshole?
86
So
pounds
what?
in 4 years. Started out as a tight end. Now he's a offensive guard, tackle, whatever they're going to play him in
What
Jacksonville.
the hell?
Yeah.
Gained 86 pounds in for the 4 years that he
4
drank
years. Yeah. Every morning he said he did that.
So if he came in
Oh.
at 220, and then he's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas.
And it's mainly muscle mass that he gained from that too.
Yeah, well, there's a
Give or
boatload,
take,
there's a
yeah.
boatload of protein in there with the eggs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I just can't imagine trying to choke that down out of a glass or out of a pitcher, for crying out loud. What else does he eat? If that's his shake, what else do you eat?
He does it every day in the morning. That's what it said.
That's breakfast.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. How many scrambled eggs?
It's 2,000 calories
Holy shit!
in the morning.
What?
That's about the same as a 26-ounce ribeye.
That's 98%
That's
of the calories that you're supposed to have in a day.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even get close to that. Not even.
I get like
I-
1,500.
That's
Yeah.
why I love Ben Barch. Just for
CJ
that.
lost another 6 pounds.
Hey!
man. Yeah.
I'm down 32.
There
now.
you
32.
go.
He's down 32.
But here's the thing, though, is that I seriously think that I was 4 Bills, though, when I started, like back in January,
yeah.
Well,
because after a month, I started weighing myself, and I seriously think I lost like 10 plus pounds in that first month.
Yeah, you
That's
lose
awesome.
a bunch
Just
right
from
away.
eating. But
Yeah.
I don't have that measurement because I didn't do it. But I seriously think in my mind that I lost
That's
13
awesome.
pounds in a matter of a month.
Yeah,
So-
I'm almost down 80. I'm down 76
I know,
pounds.
you're
So
like
if
a
you
whole
add
new
that,
man.
I'm down.
You're like a whole new man.
So if you add that, I'm down 45 pounds now from
That's good.
January.
He's just getting started. I told him, I said, it'll, and then all of a sudden you'll get into this lull where you get into the summer months and you just do your routine. And the next thing you know, you put on a pair of pants and you're like, holy shit, I need a belt. I need a belt. So,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, but that's awesome.
All right, CJ.
All
What
right.
you got?
What else is on there? There's a whole bunch of little tags that came up.
No,
there.
it's
that's
just them
peop-
entering. I don't know what's up with Podbean, but it just like it'll pick them out, but they're still in here. But then
Okay.
they'll show back up in.
All right.
So it's just them. Like I don't know. It's just Podbean being stupid.
We needed the professor to call in and give his
I know.
Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. That would have been good.
Yeah. Well, what's your diamond rough?
So the Rams, I hate to keep like being biased or something, but like Brandon Polk signed a deal with the Rams, and he was our number 2 receiver for the Dukes, and he was the transfer from Penn State.
From Penn State, he played at Briar Woods.
That's right.
That's
Yes,
Charlie
that's-
Pierce's boy
that's
from
right.
Briar Woods, man.
Went to Penn State, didn't work out there, so he transferred. He only had 1 year of eligibility, and he caught 7 touchdowns, and he had over like 1,300 yards receiving. He was a very fast receiver too.
Dude, he was very efficient
very
receiver.
Yeah.
quick and fast.
Yeah, good hands.
Yeah.
Good hands.
So,
I think he could find his way on an NFL roster. Polk,
Yes.
Brandon Polk. I
Like a
think he could,
slot guy.
yeah, something somewhere. I think you.
I
Can
mean, he
find
was
a
good at
spot
Penn
for him.
State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm down. We weren't going to do hops of the week or
All right.
anything like that. We weren't going to do a shotgun round. So that was our winners and losers, CJ. Not a bad show. That was great to hear from Brad. Brad calling in. That's awesome. I'm glad that they can now call in and reach us live and
yeah, all they need is a headset or a microphone to call in. That's
yeah.
all they
Or
need.
so if you have a laptop or you want to call in and can you do it from your phone?
Probably.
I think he said he had it. His phone.
he had his
PlayStation hooked up to his phone.
He had his PlayStation headset plugged
Yeah.
into his phone.
so. Yeah, all you need is you just need a mic. Then
Yeah.
you just need some sort of device to at least hear us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah.
Cool.
But any other last words before we get out of here?
No. Hopefully we're coming to the end of this fucking quarantine stuff soon. Because I've gone stir crazy over the last freaking several weeks, not going anywhere, not doing anything. I said I've been sitting on my ass, working at the kitchen table, staring out all day.
You would
I
think
worked
that
on
this would be an awful time, but I've lost 30+ pounds in this time.
I've done
It's
I've done
crazy.
schoolwork every day. Every day I've done my schoolwork, and every day I've had to freaking work on my computer class, and I submitted my last 2 assignments. I'm getting ready for my final exam next week.
No.
Son of a bitch, it's gonna be hard. 200 points, man.
Woo.
200 points. Oh, I have a 94
you'll
in the
get
class
over
at
it.
this point, but I did an extra
Vigna
credit
and I
assignment
did
today.
our studies in this day and age as well, so you can do it. It's okay.
Yeah, the questions, and I found out this from the professor. I said, "What's the format?" I sent him a message, and I said, "What's the format going to look like?" He goes, "You're going to get one question at a time. You get one question, you have to answer it, and then it's locked in. You can't go back and change it.
Oh,
It's locked in. You go to the next one."
wow.
So I was like, "Oh my god." I better not end up with a B. I got a 94. I can't fucking end up with a B. I can't bomb this final. But
You
so
got
far,
4 points to get to
4
not get a
percentage
B.
points I got to work with.
Well, no, you got 5 because an 89 is a 90 is an A still.
Yeah.
90 is an A, so you're
Yeah.
good.
So we'll see.
Okay, well,
That's where
we're
I'm
gonna
at.
go ahead and get out of here then.
Yeah,
so,
man. Yeah.
we will be next week. We will be next week. We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll have Brad on the show. Maybe we won't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Hopefully we'll get him on the show.
I
What's
think he
said?
Go
wants
Bills.
to,
Yeah,
he
go
wants to
Bills.
say one thing. Go Bills.
Go Bills. I got one thing to say. Go Bills.
Well, thank you for calling in, Brad. It was
Yeah.
great to talk to you, even though I probably don't remember you because
You don't
I was
remember.
so little. But thank you for everyone who is listening. This will be up tomorrow. I will post the live show tomorrow. But thank you guys. As always, peace out. Love
Yeah,
you.
man. See ya. Thank you.